Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI Weekly. It's January 6th, 2025, and man, the AI world just does not stop.
It really doesn't.
We've got so much to unpack this week, from market trends and big investments to brand new tools, and even some really philosophical debates. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it. This week is really showing us how fast AI is growing. I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
From the hardware to the software to those really big questions about the future of intelligence. I mean, it's pretty clear that AI is moving super fast from just an idea to a reality.
Absolutely. So first up, let's talk about these chip makers that seem to be booming.
Okay.
Investors are going all in on this AI boom, and it sent those semiconductor stocks way up.
Yeah.
Micron saw a 10% jump.
Wow.
And other companies like Applied Materials, Lam Research,
Right.
KLA Corp, they're all seeing big gains too. Why is that happening?
Well, the demand for AI-specific chips is just exploding.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think about the computing power that you need to train these AI models and then to run them. It's massive. And companies like Microsoft are pouring money into AI-ready data centers.
Yeah.
And they're not the only ones. Foxconn, which is a huge contract manufacturer, they just announced record revenue because everyone's buying AI servers.
So it's not just hype, it's real investment.
Exactly.
In the actual infrastructure that AI needs. And speaking of big names, NVIDIA's CEO is giving the keynote at CES, which will probably put an even bigger spotlight on AI.
Oh, yeah. For sure. NVIDIA is a major player here. Their GPUs are essential for all this AI processing.
Right.
So whatever their CEO says, it can really make a difference in the market.
Okay. Now, for something a little bit more mind-bending.
Okay.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, got everyone talking this week because he said something that kind of suggested we might already be in the singularity.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
Is he serious?
I mean, it's definitely got people thinking. For anyone who's not familiar with the singularity, it's this hypothetical moment when AI becomes smarter than humans.
Right.
And Altman seems to be saying that with all these new advancements, like OpenAI's own O3 model, we might have already crossed that line without even noticing.
Whoa. Okay. But if we are in the singularity, shouldn't things feel, I don't know, different, more futuristic or something?
Well, the singularity doesn't necessarily mean flying cars and robots right away.
Okay.
I mean, some people think it'll be this sudden big event, but others think it'll be more subtle, this gradual shift.
Right.
Altman's statement really makes you think about what intelligence actually is and how we measure it.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting philosophical question.
It is. While we're thinking about that, let's get to some more practical stuff.
That sounds good.
HuggingFace, the platform that everyone uses to host AI models, just made it much easier to build AI agents.
Oh, right.
They have this new Smolagents framework.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
This is huge for developers.
Yeah.
So Smolagents is this open source library that basically simplifies AI agent creation. And what's really cool is it uses code agent, which means AI models can write actual Python code to get things done.
Wait, so instead of relying on a preset list of tools, the AI can just code up its own solutions?
Exactly.
How does that even work?
It's pretty innovative. I mean, before AI agents could only do certain actions from this predefined library of tools.
Okay.
But with Code Agent, the AI can look at a task, figure out what needs to be done, and then literally write the Python code to make it happen.
Wow.
It makes things so much less complicated, and it really opens up what AI agents can do.
That's pretty powerful. But doesn't that also kind of raise some concerns?
Like what?
About control and safety. I mean, how do we know the AI is writing good code?
Right.
Or that it's not going to do something we don't want it to?
Those are really good points, and a lot of research is being done right now to make sure that this AI-generated code is reliable and safe.
Yeah.
Especially as AI agents become more independent, we have to prioritize security and control.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, switching gears a little bit, Meta got into some trouble this week over their AI character profiles.
Oh, yeah. Those.
They had on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
They ended up having to delete a bunch of those accounts after there was this Financial Times interview that brought up all this criticism about the project. What was that all about?
So officially, they said it was because of a bug that was preventing users from blocking the AI profiles. But it really highlights how sensitive people are about AI representation.
Right.
Especially when it comes to stereotypes and things like that. Some of those AI characters were criticized for reinforcing harmful tropes. There was one called Liv, who was presented as a Black queer persona, and some people felt like that was not a good idea.
It's a good reminder that even when you're using AI for something that seems fun,
Yeah, totally.
you still have to be really careful.
Yes.
Especially when you're representing diverse groups.
Absolutely.
I mean, we need to think about the impact these AI creations can have on society, whether it's intentional or not.
For sure.
Speaking of AI's impact on society, the job market is changing like crazy as more and more companies start using AI. I mean, over 40% of global companies are using AI in some way.
Wow.
Which has led to a 200% increase in AI-related job titles since 2022.
That's a big jump.
It is. Is this good or bad? I mean, are we all going to be out of a job soon?
It's complicated. On the one hand, some jobs are definitely going to be automated.
Right.
But AI is also creating new jobs in areas like AI development, data science, even AI ethics. The real challenge is making sure our education and training systems are keeping up.
So people have the skills they need for these new jobs.
Exactly.
And it's not just entry-level jobs that are changing, right?
No, at all.
We're also seeing this big increase in leadership roles that are focused on AI.
Yeah, C-suite positions, specifically those with an AI focus, have grown by like 428% in just 2 years.
Whoa.
I know, it's crazy. It shows that companies are making AI a core part of how they think and make decisions.
And Microsoft is leading the way when it comes to investment in AI.
Oh yeah, they're going all in.
They're putting a massive $80 billion in fiscal 2025 just to build AI-ready data centers.
Mostly in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's a huge commitment.
It is. What do you think is driving that?
Well, the demand for computing power is just growing exponentially to train and run these AI models. It's also a sign that Microsoft sees AI as a central part of their future.
Not just a fad.
Right.
And their Azure cloud services, which use a ton of AI, saw a 33% jump in revenue last quarter.
They're definitely onto something.
Yeah, their investment in AI is paying off.
Yeah.
So we've got chip makers booming, Microsoft going all in on AI infrastructure, and the job market changing rapidly.
Yep.
But AI's impact isn't limited to the digital world, is it?
No way.
Real-world robotics are also being transformed by AI.
Absolutely. We're seeing big moves from Korean tech giants like Samsung, LG, and Hyundai.
Oh yeah, like Samsung increased their stake in Rainbow Robotics, which develops humanoid robots. They're really trying to use their expertise in AI to build better robots.
Yeah, and Hyundai, who bought Boston Dynamics a while back, they just unveiled the Xable Shoulder, which is this wearable robot designed to help workers in factories and stuff.
It's so interesting to see all these different approaches to robotics.
It is.
Like wearable robots could really improve worker safety and make people even more capable.
And LG is focusing more on commercial robots, building on what they learned with those airport guide robots. And they're investing in service robot startups too. So everyone's trying to find their place in the robotics world.
It's an exciting time to be watching that space.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, before we move on to our deep dive, let's circle back to those semiconductor stocks for a second.
Okay.
All this demand for AI-specific chips raises a big question.
What's that?
Can chip manufacturers actually keep up?
That's the big question. I mean, the semiconductor industry is already dealing with supply chain problems and geopolitical stuff. So this huge increase in demand for AI chips could really strain their ability to produce enough.
It's like even with all these amazing advances in AI, software, and algorithms, we're still limited by the physical world of hardware production.
Totally.
The future of AI might depend on whether we can solve these supply chain problems.
That's a great point. Are you ready to take a closer look at some of the biggest stories from this week?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think we need to unpack OpenAI's virtual employee concept.
Yeah.
Like the idea of AI agents doing real work, writing, code, booking, travel. It's fascinating, but also kind of scary.
I know what you mean. It raises a lot of questions about the future of work.
For sure.
On the one hand, the potential to be more efficient and productive is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if AI could handle all those boring, repetitive tasks.
Right.
That would free up humans to be more creative and focus on strategy.
That sounds amazing. But we can't ignore the downsides either.
Of course not.
What about all the people who might lose their jobs? And what about the ethics of AI making decisions that could impact people's lives?
Those are definitely valid concerns. We need to be really thoughtful about how we manage this transition. And make sure AI is used in a way that's fair and ethical.
So we need strong AI governance, ethical guidelines, and ways to hold people accountable.
Exactly. The decisions we make now will have a huge impact on the future of work and society.
Okay, so operator and the rise of AI agents is a topic with a lot to think about.
It is.
Let's switch gears again and go back to that singularity conversation.
All right.
Sam Altman's idea that we might already be in the singularity.
Mm-hmm.
It sparked a lot of debate, but what would it actually mean to be in the singularity?
Right.
What would that look like?
That's a great question. I mean, the singularity is often talked about in this really hyped up way.
Yeah.
But the basic idea is that AI becomes smarter than humans.
Right.
But how that would actually play out is still being debated.
Some people imagine it as this sudden event.
Like in the movies.
Yeah, like a super intelligent AI suddenly taking over.
Right.
But is that realistic?
I mean, it's possible, but most experts think that if the singularity does happen, it'll be more gradual.
Okay.
AI is definitely getting smarter all the time, but we're still a long way from creating machines that can truly think like humans.
Yeah.
With all that creativity, empathy, common sense.
So maybe instead of worrying about a sudden AI takeover,
Yeah.
we should be paying attention to all the subtle ways AI is already changing our lives.
Exactly.
That we might not even realize it's happening.
It's true. AI is already influencing so much.
From the news we read, to the products we buy, the music we listen to, even who we date.
It's everywhere.
And as AI gets more advanced, that influence is only going to grow.
Definitely.
So maybe this singularity isn't one big event,
Right.
but this ongoing process of AI becoming more and more a part of our world.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
And that raises all sorts of questions about how we manage that, how we make sure AI is used for good, and how we maintain our own sense of purpose in a world where machines are becoming super intelligent.
Those are big questions, and they're important ones. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're actively shaping with the choices we make today.
That's a powerful thought. So as we continue to explore AI, we have to remember that we have a responsibility to use it wisely and ethically.
For sure.
The future of AI is the future of humanity.
Well said.
And it's up to us to make sure it's a future we can all be proud of.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've talked about a lot of stuff, but let's dig a little deeper into a couple of these stories.
Yep.
First, OpenAI's Operator.
Right.
This whole idea of AI agents joining the workforce. What can Operator actually do?
Yeah.
And how are companies like Microsoft and McKinsey planning on using it?
So Operator is designed to be super versatile.
Okay.
It can handle all sorts of tasks. One of its biggest strengths is coding.
Oh, wow.
So it can potentially automate a lot of things that programmers do now.
Like what?
Like, imagine it creating simple scripts for data analysis.
Okay.
Or building basic websites. Or even debugging code.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But what about tasks that aren't really about code?
Yeah.
Like booking travel arrangements.
Right.
There's a lot of searching and comparing and making decisions involved in that.
That's where Operator's ability to use external APIs and online platforms comes in.
Okay.
So it can go to travel websites, compare flights, check hotel availability, and even book things based on your preferences and budget.
So it's like having a really efficient personal assistant.
Exactly.
That can handle all the boring parts of travel planning.
Yeah.
So for companies like McKinsey, where consultants travel all the time,
Yeah.
Operators could save them a ton of time.
Tons.
And for developers at Microsoft, it could free them up from those routine coding tasks.
Right.
So they can focus on bigger, more innovative projects.
Exactly. And those are just a couple of examples.
Right.
The potential applications are huge. Think about customer service. Operator could answer basic questions and handle requests.
Yeah.
So human agents can deal with the more complicated stuff.
Or in healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
It could help doctors with data analysis and research.
Even patient communication.
It sounds like Operator could have a big impact on a lot of industries.
I think so.
But let's go back to those concerns about jobs.
Yeah.
If AI agents can do all this work, what happens to the people who are doing those jobs now?
That's a really important question, and it's one we have to think about carefully.
Yeah.
Some jobs will definitely be automated.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it has to be a disaster.
Okay.
Throughout history, new technologies have always created new jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs I couldn't have even imagined before.
So maybe instead of thinking about AI replacing humans, we should be thinking about AI working with humans.
Exactly. Like imagine teams of humans and AI agents, each using their own strengths to achieve more.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
I think so.
But we also need to focus on retraining people, giving them the skills they need to succeed in this new AI-powered world.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about the ethical implications.
Right. We have to make sure AI agents are used fairly.
Yeah.
And that they don't make existing inequalities worse.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
Responsible AI development is key.
Huh.
We need to build these agents with fairness, transparency, and accountability in mind.
Yeah.
And we need clear rules and regulations about how they can be used.
Okay, so operator and these AI agents coming into the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a topic with a lot of different angles.
It is.
Let's switch gears again and go back to that mind-blowing singularity conversation.
Okay.
Sam Altman suggesting that we might already be in the singularity.
Oh, right.
It's gotten a lot of people talking.
Yeah.
But what does it even mean to be in the singularity?
Mm-hmm.
What would that actually look like in real life?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype and speculation around the singularity. But at the end of the day, it's about AI becoming smarter than humans.
Yeah.
But what that would actually look like in the real world is still up for debate.
Some people imagine it as this dramatic, sudden event.
Right, like the movies.
Yeah, like a super intelligent AI just waking up and taking over.
Yeah.
But is that realistic?
Well, it makes for a good story, but most experts think that if it happens, it'll be more gradual.
Okay.
AI is getting more powerful all the time.
Yeah.
But we're a long way from creating machines that can really think like humans.
With all the complexity.
Yeah, all the nuances, the creativity, the empathy, the common sense.
So maybe instead of worrying about AI taking over,
Uh-huh.
we should be looking at how AI is already subtly changing our lives.
Exactly.
Sometimes in ways we don't even realize.
It's true. AI is already influencing so much.
From what we read to what we buy, the music we listen to, even who we date.
It's everywhere.
And as AI gets more sophisticated, that influence is only going to grow.
For sure.
So maybe the singularity isn't one big event, but this ongoing process of AI becoming more and more integrated into our world.
That's a really interesting way to think about it.
And that raises all sorts of questions about how we manage that integration.
Yeah.
How do we make sure AI is used for good?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we maintain our own sense of purpose in a world where machines are getting so smart?
Those are huge questions, and they're really important.
Yeah.
The future of AI is not set in stone.
Right.
It's something we're shaping right now with the decisions we make.
That's a powerful thought. So as we keep exploring this world of AI, we have to remember that we have this responsibility to use it wisely and ethically.
Absolutely.
The future of AI is ultimately the future of humanity.
Well said.
And it's up to us to make sure it's a future we can all be proud of.
I completely agree.
I feel like every week there's some new AI breakthrough.
I know,
We
right?
have new investment, a new ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but it's also kind of a lot.
It really is. It's definitely hard to keep up with everything. But I think that's what makes AI so interesting.
Yeah.
It's always pushing the limits, not just with technology, but with how we think about the world and what's right and wrong.
And as we're trying to figure all this out,
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Right?
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Absolutely.
It's up to us to make sure AI is developed in a way that benefits everyone.
I completely agree. We need to be having these tough conversations about AI ethics, about bias, transparency, accountability, and we need to make sure everyone's voice is heard.
Yeah.
Because AI is going to affect all of us.
It is. One thing that really stood out to me this week was the contrast between the excitement about AI changing the workplace and the worry about people losing their jobs.
Yeah, that tension is definitely there.
It's clear that AI is going to change how we work, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Right. It doesn't have to be us versus them.
Instead of seeing AI as a threat, maybe we can see it as a chance to rethink work altogether.
I like that.
What if AI could take over all those boring, repetitive tasks
Right.
and free us up to do more creative and meaningful work?
That would be amazing.
Maybe AI can even help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Like climate change.
Yeah. Or poverty or disease.
Yeah,
The potential is huge, but we have to use it responsibly.
absolutely. And that responsibility isn't just on the people developing AI.
Right.
It's on all of us. We need to educate ourselves about AI, understand what it can and can't do, and really think critically about its impact.
It's not just about understanding the technical stuff.
You know,
It's about understanding the social and ethical and even philosophical implications of AI.
we have to ask ourselves the big questions.
Yeah, like what do we want AI to achieve?
Exactly.
What role do we want it to play in our lives?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of world do we want to create with AI?
Those are questions we're going to keep wrestling with as AI keeps evolving.
Yeah, but by having these conversations now, we can help make sure that AI is a force for good.
A force for good in the world.
Not just for technology, but for humanity.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this week's episode of AI Weekly.
It flew by.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
It's a wild ride for sure.
It's a journey full of surprises, challenges, and incredible possibilities.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
We'll be back next week with more news analysis and insights. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.